So appreciate y'all coming. For those of you who just joined in moments ago, I'll kind of repeat myself, but you see all the AI bots. I got 5 of them running, and next week I'm going to show you what the showdown actually presented, and we're going to use AI to analyze the AI bots. So it'll be fun. It will be fun. All right. Okay, so what I thought I would do today, and just to show you guys how much I love you, I have spent almost $1,000 in subscriptions to make this happen today. Okay. I know. I am as shocked as you are.
Wow. They have no idea how hard that was, how much that hurt.
It hurt.
If you don't know John personally, you do not know how hard that hurt. How much that hurt.
It was a painful experience. But anyway, so I have loads of subscriptions right now, and just this is why I keep this database of all the software subscriptions that I got, so I can know, what the hell I need to cancel before it grows. But I have a ton of these things going. But anyway, so today I thought, okay, I don't know about you guys, but every now and then I got to teach somebody something. And I'm kind of throwing back to, gosh, 8 years ago. Let me move this out of the way. 8 years ago, our company over here, we decided to build something that was Slack before Slack was Slack, and we called it Thinbox. And we spent way too much money. And Slack, of course, raised $8 million. Then they raised $25 million. Then they raised $300 million, all in the 12-month span that we were trying to fund it out of cash flow. So we literally excreted 7 figures and packed our bags and went home. But in the process of it, I had to do an explainer video that showed what our software would do. And it was pretty cool. Yay, though it cost me $15,000 to produce this video. And what I'm going to show you today, it ain't as cool, but it's cool enough. But you can do what we spent 15 grand on in, I don't know, we'll put the timer on and figure it out, but we'll probably knock this out in under 5 minutes.
It's 15 grand cool.
Yeah. So there's that.
There's that.
So anyway, I didn't want to really create a whole script on this, so I thought I would take it from the top and just see if we couldn't produce an explainer video using a blog post. And so I thought I would use one of our most recent blog posts. It's how to optimize your marketing budget with AI. And scrolling through here, you can see we kind of go into the challenges. We talk about the solutions. Then we talk about practical ways to implement it. And then we have 5 specific tools that you could use to manage your ad campaigns and stuff. And then, of course, we pitched the roundtable. Thank you all for being here. So that's our big close to pitch you on something that's free. So anyway, so I thought, hey, I wonder just how well this will do that. And there are tools out here. Let me see if I can find you one. Yeah, so this tool theoretically will write a script for you. But I was like, why do I want to pay for yet another tool that basically taps into ChatGPT, puts boundaries around it, and then gives you something that you could do on your own? So I was like, I'm not going to do that. And I've started to evaluate, millions of these things. And I'm like, okay, I'm always going back to ChatGPT. And I've done some other really interesting things on here. And if we have time, Paul Stackpole, remind me, and I'll show you something that's kind of interesting. But I'll just leave you with that cliffhanger. All right, so let's take a look at this. I decided, okay, well, let me take a little prompt here from the old prompt database here. And here we'll go open it up, and we're going to copy this. And then I'm going to go back over here into ChatGPT, and I'll explain this prompt. All right. So it's just, I have content up here and I'm pasting in a URL. I could paste in content if I wanted to, but I thought, let's just see how bad it could be in writing a script. And I said, well, create a 60-second script for the explainer video from content. Don't include a scene description. I had to refine this, as you would, because I noticed it was doing stuff. So I said, let me create a prompt that'll do what I want it to do on a consistent basis. So then all I have to do in the future is swap that out. You know, you've heard me talk about scalable prompting, and that's what this is all about. And y'all feel free to ask questions, stop me along the way, because I have to take breathing space every now and then. So, all right, so let's see what it does and let her rip. And I have Web Pilot turned on, by the way.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, so you got to have that. And while that's rolling, you know, you can see in my prompt, I have a note here for everybody else to know that use Web Pilot if you're going to use this particular prompt. Okay, then you're also going to notice as I swap over here that I have a refining prompt after this one runs, which tells it to do something. I'll show you that in a second. But see, here it goes. It's writing the script. Scene by scene.
Yeah, I've done something very similar and used the Pictory thing. Just like
yeah, Pictory does that too. Yeah. There's several tools that do it.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So now we've got it. So let's just refine it because I need it to kind of break stuff down a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it to modify the scene so that the AI tools, these, are broken into their own scene. And I want the narrator to tell why the business would use a tool like that, because for some reason, you know, it always sticks them in one thing. And I think it's because of the blog structure, because it's, you know, it's looking at a headline like this, which is an H2 in HTML language, and it's got this. All right. All right. So I think that's why it does that. So that's why I have this thing separating it out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and I'll show you, you have to break it into chunks, and I'll show you what that looks like. But I always use, like, I just open up a little Google Doc or something so that I can do some editing on there before I actually paste it into the tool itself. Otherwise, the tool will keep certain things in here that I don't necessarily want, like scene 7, you know, I don't need that because it's already got that. Okay, here we go. So now we've got all this fun stuff, and I'll just copy it. And then I'll go over here. I'll create a doc, blank one. And I'm just going to paste this stuff.
Help me write.
Okay, so we don't need that, or that, or that, or that. And we'll see if this paste works. The thing I wonder about is, you know, the spacing and stuff, but we can edit it. Okay, now if there's anything in here we wanted to edit, we could actually do that. But if I were to take this and just copy it, and then I go over here to this particular tool called Steve.ai. How they came up with that, I don't know, but you know,
because they're running out of names. That's
I think that's, they're trying not to do the gobbledygook, but you know, Steve is good enough for anything. All right,
unregistered Fred.ai.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. All right, so here we go. So we're going to just go ahead. All right, we don't need a tutorial. Why did it do this for me? We're going to do an animation video. and we're going to paste our own script in here. All right, so let's just see how well it breaks it down. Boom, did it. Okay, cool. It broke it perfectly into all the scenes. So we're rocking and rolling. Now, we're just going to say this is about AI. Simple enough. Animation video, we'll do music. And, you know, it's estimating that's 2 minutes and 13 seconds. We could cut it back if we want to, but let's just see how it goes. All right, so now the question is which of these lovely styles we want to use. You mouse over it, of course, and it, you know, gives you some looks. This guy looks a little goofy for me. I really don't remember which one I used, but
this tool seems like it could use some improvement to my eye.
Yeah, honestly, they all can. I'm just going to take this one just for giggles and see what happens. So I've noticed the more I use these, you can tell almost, and you know, not to be politically incorrect, but you can almost tell what's made in India and what's made in Eastern Europe and what's made in the US. And I'll show you one that's clearly made in India because the artwork is so bad. All right, so here we go. We got it here. Now, I could record a voiceover on here, and I'll show you some tricks with that. But I could also go in here and figure out what music I want to play. And so when you mouse over this, whoops, hang on, let me share my computer sound so you can hear this. Yeah. All right. You mouse over, you can hear what it sounds like. And now the only thing is you see the timing on these things. If we got a 2-minute video and you're using a 30-second clip, it's got a loop, which means you're going to have a silent part, right? And that's the tricky part with that. So, all right, this is a minute 18. That's fairly hit.
That sounds like you, John.
Why not? If nothing else, the description is cool, bombs away. I don't know. All right, so we'll let that rip. And as you can see, you know, you got the different scenes, so you could do a lot with this, but just for giggles, let us preview it. Music's starting to get to me, but
yeah.
anyway, that was kind of interesting, right? So you can go in and you could edit the script, and you could edit the transitions, and you could edit the scene background. Obviously, you can change over the music. You could record a voiceover as well. You can even take your own voice, record the voiceover, and then you can go into another tool to change your voice. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. But
John, would you paste that script, the script that you pasted in there? Would you just paste it into the chat thing? Because I want to grab it.
Yeah, you bet.
Go piddle with it. Yeah, just cut and paste that.
All right. So, but the bottom line is, I thought, that's not bad for a couple of seconds, right? Write the script, paste it, have it do some animation. You can go in and clean it up. to your heart's content, but it pulled it straight off of a blog post. That's pretty impressive for a couple of seconds. Now imagine if you actually had a script that you had written to explain something like a piece of software, your own back end, something like that. You could use that to do some of the explanation, but you can also flip out these backgrounds and you can throw in pictures of your software and stuff like that. So that said, I thought, Steve, not bad, right? Not bad. And we can
John,
put that inside
I have
the
a
blog.
question. I have a
Yes, sir.
question. This is interesting, but it's all text. So will Steve take that text and create a voiceover? In other words, speak these lines?
So yeah, if I do this, I could add a Steve voice, and unfortunately they're kind of bad. So let's just pick.
Hello, I am Kendra from Steve. I'm one of the voices you can use to make your text lifelike. When I read your text, it sounds like this.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Let's
Yeah,
see
but
if there's
that's-
anybody.
Hello, I am Joanna.
That's only that tool, though. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
That particular tool doesn't have a very good one, but other ones like Pictory have a much better.
Yeah, Pictory has better voices and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. But it is interesting. But like I said, what I would typically do is I would use this, or Pictory. I'd probably use Pictory, but I would probably create my own voiceover. Now, speaking of voiceovers, let's walk you through something else that I thought was really interesting that Adobe has come out with. So they've come out with this little podcast tool that's in beta. I'm waiting to get access to the full-blown thing, but you'll find this really interesting, and I want to show you. So Jillian, I don't think Jillian is on the call today, but so Jillian gave me a little testimonial, and I want you to try to hear this if you can. I wonder if I need to, volume is where volume is. Let's see. All right, so can y'all hear this?
Hi, my name is Jillian Johnson. I'm the founder of Miriam Chat.
Kind of barely, right? So what I had to do, and I won't pull it up because, well, actually, maybe I can. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so this is that in Camtasia. Some of y'all are probably familiar with Camtasia.
Yep, I use that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I have to do here, if you listen, try to squeeze your ears, listen.
Hi, my name is Jillian Johnson. I'm the founder of Miriam.
Not quite ready to hear, but if I turn on the normalization part.
Miriam Chat, a brand new chatbot company that has been started and developed.
It cranks it up a notch, right? So that's cool. Now watch this. I'm going to show you, here's the original after exporting it back out of Camtasia. Now, I played around with Camtasia for like 30 minutes trying to get rid of the background stuff, the echo, because she was really far away from the microphone and all that stuff. So you end up with this.
Hi, my name is Jillian Johnson. I'm the founder of Miriam Chat, a brand new.
Okay, so you hear the hiss in the background.
Yeah.
You can tell she's way away from it. So, but check this out. Now, this will take, a few seconds for it to upload. But this was really impressive to me. And I'm thinking now the tricky part is, again, I have to get the full podcast tool because theoretically it would allow you to do this inside of a video frame as opposed to take an audio clip and then you have to pull it back into something like Camtasia and then you have to sync it up with the lips. That's kind of a pain. But what it can do in the number of seconds that it takes to do this is pretty stunning. So watch this. I'm going to turn this off and you can listen.
Hi, my name is Jillian Johnson. I'm the founder of Miriam Chat,
a brand new chatbot company that has been started and
There you
developed in 2023.
Right.
As part of being a new entrepreneur, I have to align myself with executives throughout.
That's amazing. Yeah, that was really amazing in just a couple of seconds. So, I mean, think of the possibilities with something like that. Now, if that weren't enough, and by golly, don't you think it should be, you can export this. All right, so let's just do this. We're going to export it right into the download folder as enhanced. And then I'm going to go over here. Let me see, which one is it? Is it Altered Studio? Yeah. So with Altered Studio, whoops, if I go into my downloads folder and I throw that in here,
Hi, my name is Jillian Johnson. I'm the
all right, so now theoretically,
Hi, my name is Jillian Johnson.
I don't know where the library is. Where's the, yeah, something is foobarred with altered, but inside of this thing, you can get the thing to change the voice. Now let me see if the library will load. Oh, should we make her a male? No. I don't know whether this will do this or not. We'll see.
Hi, my name is Jillian Johnson. I'm the founder of
Nope.
Miriam.
Oh, well, at one point it worked. And of course, in the live world, it's not. But you can literally change this voice to kind of anything, which is really interesting. So if you were to narrate your own VSL or something like that, you're not happy with your voice, you could literally change your voice to just about anything that you want. And as long as you're reading with the proper inflections and all that stuff, this thing will make you sound like whatever you want to sound like. It's phenomenal. I don't know why this library isn't loading, but yeah, library is not ready. I don't know what that means, but it's pretty interesting. Now, some of the other tools that are out here that I tried before, just, to kind of show you the things that work and don't work. This particular one, Predis, I don't know what it's called. I did the same thing with it and said, okay, I want you to create a video. All right. So if I were to create new, I'll just show you. You see, this is clearly made in India, and you can tell by the artwork. The artwork is just noisy, and it just doesn't work. If you mouse over it, you can see the animation, and it's just way over animated. You'd kind of start to go into a seizure if you looked at it too long. So I kind of worry about stuff like that. But I want to show you what it actually produced out of the same blog post. And you can kind of see, I just told it I gave it the link to the blog post. So it wrote all this, and theoretically this is the post. And what you would do inside of here is you say, go ahead and post this to LinkedIn. You could schedule the post. So from a technical standpoint, it has really interesting features. From an execution standpoint, but I wanted you to kind of look at it and see what I mean. So I took the music out because it was really driving me nuts, and I didn't want to just destroy your entire day. But you can see how it really over animates. And it repeats some stuff, and theoretically you can swap those out. But it's not really meant for this kind of a deal, I think. I think they're trying to maybe just create some sort of a promo. If you were selling, widgets or something, if you had a gift store and you were trying to highlight certain items, maybe this would be appropriate. I don't see it as a tool that I could use. I mean, I tried a few different things. The thing that comes with it, that there's a default thing. But like I said, I kept looking through all these different templates to see if any of them would work for a B2B company. And no, they don't. And I'm not enough of a designer to try to screw around with it and clean it up. So, but you see how noisy these are? I mean, could you take out some of the noise? Probably by reducing the amount of the text. But when you click on it, it instantly applies the new template. Like I said, it's one of those things that it has promise, but it's got a lot of golf left, I would say. This one is another one that I was trying out, Opus Clip. The problem I have with a lot of these things is what they'll do is they'll take your video and then they'll split it up into TikTok videos or Instagram videos or, you know, the vertical kinds of things. And theoretically, through AI, it's supposed to find logical spots in your video that would be useful as a TikTok. Now, TikTok has that 1 minute limit. So theoretically, the AI is scrolling through there and saying, oh, this is an interesting point. I'll block it off, turn it into a video. And it'll even put all the little subtitles on it and all this stuff. So, you know, it's one of those things where it has promise, but in execution, it's kind of tricky. I did not have a video that I could straight up upload that was amenable to that. Because, you know, like I record a lot of these and it's widescreen, you know? And so when I'm sharing a screen like this and you try to throw it into a TikTok video, it doesn't really work too well. And with a tool like this, it doesn't, you know, it just doesn't balance it out well. So, you know, again, you have to have the right kind of video content for this to work. Now, I wish I could show you exactly how to do it, but lacking a decent video, it couldn't quite pull it off. But you could, if you had a YouTube video, you could just drop the link in here and it would carve up that YouTube video into the various things that you need. So like I said, it's got promise, and there's several of them that do this. I thought this one looked like the most interesting. So I may try to record a video and see what happens. I just didn't have enough time this week to do it. But the concept is a cool one. So if you guys want to check it out, you know, go ahead. What I'll do is I'll probably, if I produce something, I'll throw it into the community so y'all can take a look at it and tell me what you think. All right. Speaking of which, for those of you who got botched up in the community, hopefully you have access. If you don't have access to the community, you go over here on our website to roundtable replay request. All right. And I can throw that link in the old chat just so that you know. But inside of here, if you do this, it'll automatically give you access to the community. And inside the community, you would just click this little button, community replays, and you jump over here, and then you have access to all this stuff. Obviously, we haven't had a whole lot of time to put anything in here, but feel free to have discussions, ask questions, whatever. But as I produce stuff, I'll probably pop it in some of these areas. You know, if you have thoughts, questions, ideas, feel free to comment. You can see down here is where the replays are. One of the tools that I am going to be trying out for these replays is this one. John Benson uses this, right? Bill, you heard him talk about this a lot. So I'm interested to see how it works, but it took it about 45 minutes, believe it or not, 30 to 45 minutes to encode this, where it takes the text and it creates chapters, content tags, etc. And theoretically, and again, I'm going to see if I can't pick John Benson's brain to figure out how to install all this. But what it should do is allow you to go up here or somewhere, I don't know where, and search for specific words. Like if you remember that we discussed something 4 weeks ago in a roundtable and you don't know which roundtable it was, if you have an idea what the topic was, Searchy, theoretically, would find it for you and show you what that is. So that's going to be fun to play around with. We'll see how that goes. But over here, okay, it looks like I have to go in and manually add chapters. Bill, have you played around with this at all?
We have. It will create the chapters for you. It'll have the stuff when you do the Searchy AI down there. That's the one where it creates all the chapters. And I think for the one where it it'll search all your videos. I think you need one, it may be off of this, but there's one other piece to do this. It's still the same Stu McLaren thing. I'm just trying to remember the name of it, but we have a lot of our videos in Searchy right now. I mean, this is a great spot for just video depository. And but it's good. And I see a lot of others particularly in the digital marketing space, coalescing around this.
Really? Okay, so you've used it then, and you're happy with it?
Yeah, the main thing, if you go to the left, they have a thing called the second one down where they have hubs. Go all the way left.
Way over here.
On the left, all the way, yes. And on the left,
the other
yes, way. Second one, all the way over left. And right above, right there, hubs. Click on hubs. And each of these, basically, you can click on any one of these. You see all templates on the right. So you can either pick something that they have, or you can create it or put everything in here. And so, for instance, pick sports or anyone right here. There's multiple ones. And it was sports. I don't know, just anyone, electric beats, sport. Just anyone right here that
okay, how about
multiple.
This? Oh, it's going to tell me to upgrade my subscription, I guess. Okay. So it gives you, it looks like a website.
Hold on, no, this isn't what I was thinking. Go back to another one. This is really good for like to do the product launch formula, where if you go down a little bit lower, you can see some of those will have space for like 3 or 4 videos going across. And basically what you can do is you create a hub and then you can
a membership site.
Correct. And then what you do is you link these, you link all your videos into that hub, the ones that you want. First, you have a library of all your videos. You create a hub, and the hub is meant to have some words and a small website, if you will, that holds and will display all your videos. So you can create any kind of hubs that you want. If you want, like that one, the dog training. See how they have 3 or 4 different things on the dog training one, the second, all far right. Click on that one, and just you'll see an idea with. You see now, if you go a little, so here's the way this is. If on the Stu McLaren, the way they would work, they would have here's 1, 2, 3, and then trying to do the sale. You can do something quite similar to that, where it says lessons go right here. Let's go, and then just click, and so you can put the videos in. You could customize this any way you want, and then you could have other types of. This is a template for people to use that holds videos and can make a site around it. So.
Okay, so it's like a Jeff Walker PLF product launch formula kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
Like Stu McLaren does, right? Yeah. Stu McLaren's Tribe, right? Isn't that his deal?
Well,
but I think Searchy
he owns this.
He does.
Yes, he started this. And he's the chief investor of this one. And Tribe is no longer. Really? He has. I'm trying to remember the name.
Better things to do.
No. It's a different name. Same group, different name. It's you're calling it something different than Tribe.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Something with membership or something like that. I forget the name of it, but Tribe is still out there, but Searchy is his new thing. And I was interested to see that the digital marketing community was kind of coalescing around this.
Yeah. Interesting. Corinne, have you used it before?
I have not, John, but I have a friend who uses it extensively.
Yeah.
So she's a coach, a career coach, but her whole library is done in this, and her member site. But I think she got connected with it through the Stu McLaren process.
Okay. Well, one of the things, John, on this is when you load it does take a little bit of time, and it's only time. You just drag and drop, and it loads in. Right. It will make thumbnails, and make chapters of your video. And I think it does a pretty decent job, but the first thing it does is transcribe everything. And so everything's transcribed, and then it goes through and then logically makes various chapters, if you will. And so, for instance, if you had like a bonuses or something going across, you could take these, here we go. Some of these, here's the chapters down below. You can take some of these, and there's more on some of these where you can go. They have short ones you can click on, and so you can have these descriptions that can go through, and so it kind of points to the stuff. And so like Yeah, so as your advertising can say, and if you go to minute 38:13, you're going to find out how AI can free up your time and maximize your efficiency. And so
Gotcha.
that's you can advertise it, but also if someone was, and I haven't done this searching stuff, and I think there's another tool. I'm just blank. I haven't used it yet, but where you go and if you had 200 videos, 20 videos, or whatever, and just say, I want to use AI to free up time and maximize efficiency. And like I remember when Stu was talking about it, he goes, I thought I did a video on that at some point. And then so this is a tool that'll get someone to, and it'll say, for these 5 videos that you have, you go to minute 38:13 on this one, and you go to get some, you go another video, you go to 14:32, and you're going to get it over there and list 3 videos, sections that may address the question someone has. And so basically it's creating a chat of sorts that will only address and go after your videos.
Wow, that's really interesting. I'm wondering, all right, Bob, good to have you here. Bob Lyles heading out for the day. So Glenn, if you could unmic, I don't know whether you can or not. I'd love to know what you're talking about with your video podcast workflows.
Sure. Yeah, so at Optimize Yourself, we have we've had an audio podcast forever, and I guess a couple of years ago, started repurposing, because we've been we were recording our using Zoom for all of our podcast stuff anyway, and so we had, I guess, a couple of years worth of back catalog videos, and so we took our top 10, and that's how we started rebooted the YouTube channel. And we have, it's a painstaking process to do the chapter markers and write good chapter titles and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing at Searchy, because if you can easily export those chapters and all that kind of stuff, and the timestamps and everything in the format that'll work well with YouTube and all that, that could save us, shave off a little bit of time in our workflow.
Yeah,
that's
right.
exciting.
No, it is cool. So is yours all audio, or do you have a video podcast as well?
Yeah, our video podcast is up on YouTube, and find the link here.
Yeah, throw it in there. That would be interesting. Ready. What's the topic?
We cover a lot of stuff, but it's mainly in the 3 main areas of like lifestyle, like work-life balance, time management, and career advancement for people who work in the entertainment industry.
Well,
and
your phones must be ringing now because they're all on strike, right?
Yeah. So we've had to do a hard pivot, in light of that, for sure.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. You could share the link. That would be great. So I'm sure some people would love to see what
maybe you should pivot to a temp agency.
Right. Good idea.
Right. Right now the messaging that we're putting out in light of the strike and AI concerns about AI replacing jobs for writers, and everybody in the industry is going to be affected, but one of their big concerns is the rise of AI, and so we're, I think, probably the only people who are making sense on this topic, because everybody else is running around with their hair on fire. And meanwhile, we're like, okay, it's time to, just wrap our arms around this technology. And, the editors who, for example, editors, who embrace embrace AI tools, are going to be less likely to be replaced by editors who don't, right? And,
exactly.
And also we're helping people go through kind of like a match quality exercise, where they draw on all of their life experiences, their hobbies and things like that. So for example, Zach, who's the founder of our company, and he trains for American Ninja Warrior, and he's had experience, and a lot of other areas, psychology and neuroscience and so forth. So just as an example, he pulls together all those experiences and looks for ways to diversify, what he's doing, to basically diversify the number of revenue streams. So that's one thing that we're trying to help our people to do right now.
Great idea. Great idea. You just gave me another thought here in terms of editing. Now, one of the things that you'll see is that virtually every tool out there is integrating AI. Now, we use Vimeo currently, and that's why we're kind of looking at Searchy, which is, that indexable thing is kind of interesting. But when we upload something into Vimeo, they've got a new tool in here that would allow you to get rid of the pauses and the blank spaces, which would be really interesting, especially if you're recording something by yourself and you're like, okay, let me think about how I'm going to say this. And then you say it, it'll cut all those blank spots out. For me, having to do that, and Kelly could tell you, it takes forever to cut those little things out. You're talking about hundreds of cuts. So like, for instance, in this one, all right, so it's a hour and 51 seconds, but if I were to play this
at the top that tells,
okay,
thank you. I don't know why I don't see it.
Okay, so this is
on my stuff
before we actually open the gates and let everybody in.
Okay, cool.
All right,
well, let me read.
in.
Let me know if you're ready. All right, admit all.
All right, here we go. Okay, so now what's interesting about that is I could sit here and I could run, this thing around and try to, trim, etc. Or I could just take this text and I could tell it, get rid of it. That'd just save me a hell of a lot of time just by picking the text. All right, now if that were enough, boom. If I clip this and I say, look, get rid of any gaps that are, half a second, I could make it more than that. Look for filler words like the ums, the uhs, and the buts. It's already telling me there are 179 of those in here. You try to figure that out on your own, right? That'd take you forever. 429 word gaps. That'll remove almost 9 minutes out of this thing, right? This will remove 3. So check this out. Boink. And boink. And now I'm down to 47 minutes, right? It was a minute. I mean, it was an hour and 1 going into this. And in 2 clicks, I'm golden, It's just mind blowing. And you can kind of see the little thing. He's going to.
That's what I'm doing when the camera's off.
He's playing. Excellent. All right. Yeah. So we just invite you all to turn on your cameras. That way I can see feedback, as we go through all this stuff. And, you can leave. Okay. So y'all missed it, but it cut out a little in there. So it's just an amazing little tool, and it's built into Vimeo now, which is, again, that's pretty slick. You're going to see AI integrated into everything. And so when you talk, Glenn, about a guy who is not using AI is going to be replaced by a guy who is, software out there who is not integrating AI is going to be replaced by those who are. So if you've got a software application and you aren't figuring out how to use AI in it, man, you're not going to be in the software business long.
John, I have a question.
Yeah.
To that. So is that a free version? Is that a premium version?
Yeah. I have a paid version. So
okay.
Go ahead and just save this.
Okay. I'm currently using Descript, which from how I use it, it feels pretty similar. Have you tried that?
Yes. Bob, you use it too, right?
Yeah, I use it a lot. Yes.
Okay.
I've dropped some of my conference videos where I recorded myself doing a conference, doing a talk, and then drop it in there and it transcribes it. And then I do the same exact workflow. But
do you see any advantages for either of them? I've never worked with Vimeo before, only Descript.
So, well, I can only speak for Vimeo. The reason I use Vimeo is because if I'm going to embed the video inside of my website or inside of the course or something like that, I don't want a YouTube carousel going around, So I don't want to force somebody who doesn't have a paid subscription to YouTube to get ads. In other words, there's limitations in there. I can brand it. I can do a lot of stuff. I know YouTube's tried to open it up and do some of that stuff, but Vimeo makes it a lot better. There's Wistia. There's several of them out there that we've tried. But I don't know. I like it. I can build folders. I can do a lot of other stuff. But when they introduced the AI part of it, I was like, maybe I'll stick around. I don't know. Because I was kind of like Bob, I was looking at Descript and I was saying, okay, well, Descript could do this. And there are other tools that will do this. I think I closed one of them out. I had one up. Recut will do all that stuff, So I'm sitting here thinking, I don't need to buy all these tools to do this if one will do it all. And that's kind of why I thought, okay, I guess I'll stick with this.
I mean, it's like anything else. Vimeo's got it integrated in, but it's the feature set that they're going to have related to it is going to be kind of the basic set, right? The thing that helps 80% of people do what they need to do. Like a Descript still is developing additional features, as a part of that software to do other things. So, for John, his workflow is I need to get it in there. I need to get it edited quickly. And I need to get it online. And I don't want a bunch of ad crap in it. If I don't want it in there, then that's the right fit for him. The Descript thing is if you want to do that and you want to cut it up, because Descript will let you cut it up into different formats. Like if you want to put it in, instant messages, those little instant messages or Instagram, it lets you do a lot more stuff. So it's just it's a question of what your need is. Correct. As to which tool you're going to want to pick. That's all.
Yeah. And what I try to do, first of all, I use Vimeo for video hosting, right? I don't want to upload a giant video into a WordPress site because that's going to slow down the entire site if a whole bunch of people are trying to download, 30 gig video. But I can stream it inside of Vimeo or Wistia or whatever tool it might be. But I just happen to play around with all of them. I kind of centered in on Vimeo for one reason or another. Wistia has better reporting on the back end if you want to see, who's using it and all that stuff. So go ahead, Glenn. You had some. I'm looking at it in chat. You want to unmute? Tell us what you were talking about. Sorry, Descript does a fair job.
Oh, just piggybacking off of what previous attendee was saying. Descript also, in addition to like all the development and innovation that they're continuing to do, it does a fair job of enhancing audio as well. Just thought I'd throw that in there, similar to the Adobe podcast tools.
Yeah. Now there's a lot of them. It's like Bob said, you just got to figure out what your use case is and which one's going to serve you best. Which, again, that's why I spend all that money, just so you don't have to write out. And look, we use 123RF. We've had a subscription for them for, just grabbing photos that we could use. And now they've embedded AI. So this was the prompt I used. I noticed, and the only reason I put Caucasian in here is if you don't put Caucasian in here, they're always Asian women or Asian people, which I'm not sure what that's all about unless the AI people were in China when they developed it. And so they're like, okay, everybody must want to see that. So, bottom line is you have to get pretty descriptive of what you want in there. And then I took like a couple of these pictures and downloaded them, and then I uploaded them. Let me see if I have it up here in Runway. Has anybody used Runway before? No? Yeah, Glenn has. Okay. Runway's kind of interesting in that it'll create like I think it's a 4-second animation, right, Glenn? And straight from text, which is really kind of interesting. And I wonder if I have, I didn't have one in here, but you can upload, like here, if I'm going to go text to video, I could upload an image and then have it animate the image. And what I found was kind of interesting. Let's take this one, for instance. If I just download this one, which I've already downloaded, but I just don't remember where the heck I put it. And then I pull it into Runway. We'll do this. We'll just throw it in here. We'll throw it into Runway. Hang on a second. There it is. If I upload that into Runway, let's see if it does it again. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to say, all right, let's take this picture and let's give it some 4 seconds worth of animation. And what you do, this is essentially B-roll footage, right? So you can create these little bitty animations and you can extend them if you want, but it just creates some interesting B-roll footage for your videos if you're producing them. I went into Photoshop because, you know, they have that, I won't pull it up, but they have that generative fill we showed you a couple of weeks ago. And I took a picture of a lady who was sitting on a couch and a pillow was next to her. You know, I used generative fill and I changed the pillow to a red pillow. And then I like, oh, let me see if it'll turn it into a cat. It'll turn it into a cat. Looks like a cat sitting next to her. And I said, let's turn it into a pizza. Boom, pillow becomes a pizza in a box. And then I said, make it a Domino's pizza. Now, all of a sudden, the pizza was sliding out of the box, which I thought was kind of interesting. I don't know what that's about, but it did. And then I took the picture of the lady with the pizza and I put it in here just to see what it would do. And it freaked out. The pizza was on the couch next to her. All of a sudden, a pizza came out of her head and into her hands. And I was like, what? I don't know how you control that, but it was crazy. It was just wild. I thought I should have recorded that because that was just the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. All right, so let's see what it does with this. Last time I did it, it animated her and her, but it put somebody sneaking in behind her, which is really interesting. So let's see what happens. Oh, wait, shoot. I just hit regenerate, didn't I? I should have hit the play button like a knucklehead. I didn't scroll down far enough. Well, let's see what it does again. But anyway, this tool is pretty interesting. You could go text and you could just type out something and it'll create it and animate it for you. And again, a little 4-second clip. But it's really fascinating how well it's getting. Now, I tried another one where a woman was sitting at a desk. Actually, I did it with a text and I typed it out and I said, I want a picture of a woman sitting at a desk working on a laptop where the camera angle is behind her and the camera pans to the left. You can get that descriptive in it. Well, as most of you know, AI hasn't quite progressed where it can work with hands very well. You know, some of them are getting better, but this chick's right hand looked like there was another hand over it. And when the animation came in, you just would have sworn she had grabbed an octopus. So it was really, really weird. But they're getting better though. Hopefully this will hurry
up. Another year,
yeah.
And it's gonna be a whole different ball game in just a couple years.
Yeah.
You'll be able to generate a completely generative movie, right? Actors and everything.
Okay, so here we go. Let's see what she looks like. Ooh. Wait, somebody walking in from the light. She's walking through walls.
Yeah, but the screen and all is good, and the person on the right animation is good.
Yeah, she does okay. She looks weird, and the person coming through the wall, we can't use that. But it's getting there, you know?
Yeah.
It's interesting stuff. Okay.
Hey, John, 2-minute warning, and you promised me a snippet, and I've been on the edge of my seat.
All right, let's see. Okay, so just so y'all know, Paul is in the direct mail business, right? So he's got a printing company. They do more than that. But I asked Paul for a proposal for a client of ours to do some direct mail around the country. So Paul sent me this, right? Bunch of scenarios. I said, Paul, I'm not going to hold you to. I just need an estimate so I could budget for next year. Here's the scenario. We want to try to reach these people. So he gave me this, right? And so I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, I need to make sense of this. And I don't have time. So guess where I go? ChatGPT, right? So I go jumping over there And let me see. Was it this one? No. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. So Paul, check this out. I just said, turn proposal into a table that I can understand. Give me a CSV file. Here's the proposal. I pasted your exact words just right in there. Sure thing, it says to me, because it knows me, right? It pulls them into a table, right? Beautifully. So I got all these tables and downloadable CSV files. I turned on Code Interpreter, by the way. You have to have Code Interpreter to pull this off. It gave me CSV files that then I incorporated and pulled into a spreadsheet. Then I said, okay, cool. I want to reach 8,000 restaurant franchisee with a mailer promoting our branded outdoor directional signage. Given this proposal, what would be the most cost-effective way to reach my audience and drive sales? If the average sale is $1,875, how long or frequently will I need to run a campaign to generate an ROI of 200% from this?
Wow.
And it gives me all of this. It tells me what I could do, couldn't do. And then it starts to interpolate. And then it says, okay, here's what it would cost. Now let's calculate how frequently at a conversion rate of 1%, right? Given that, it's going to take 5.21 sales to achieve a 200% ROI, or 0.065 campaigns, or 6.52% of the whole thing to achieve the ROI. So, Paul, you could probably use that to sell more.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. That,
right.
You could send not only that, but you could send this analysis and say, here's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Here's your budget, and based on what our pricing is, here's what you got to do.
Right.
And this will knock it out for you.
Isn't that nuts?
That's crazy.
Okay, so hang on a second.
That's insane.
Yeah, so let me share. I'm going to copy this chat because Glenn asked for that, and I'll paste that in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Boom. Okay, so there's the chat sequence for that. So crazy stuff, huh, guys? But that's what I mean. Using AI, you can simplify your job so much if you just think about it first, you know? And in that particular case, after it put it in the table, I was like, I wonder if it'll tell me, because, you know, my client said, well, how do I know I'm going to get an ROI? I said, you won't until you try. But then it occurred to me, let's figure out what it would take to generate.
What it would look like. Well, yeah, exactly.
Right.
What would you need to do to make that actually happen?
Right. And now my next trick would be to take that and say, okay, draft an email to the CEO of this company and explain it to him, right? And it'll do that. So anyway, as always, I appreciate y'all joining in. Next week, like I said, we will we'll show you the results of how these 5 AI bots transcribe this whole thing. And we invite you to join the community. Feel free to ask questions, have a conversation. If you got any cool thoughts, ideas, or anything, drop it in there and we'll all have a good time. All right. Anything else?
Thank you.
Fabulous. All right. Well, I'm out of your lives, as we say. Y'all have a blessed weekend, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Great, John. Thanks for the value.